This creature was truly a monster, and Jinsung now needed to make a realistic decision. Could they even win in their current state? After a moment, Jinsung sighed. Thanking Lai for fighting hard, he unsummoned him. There was no time for emergency first aid. If the battle continued, his own body would grow heavy, making him unable to dodge the dragon's attacks. Besides, he couldn't win with Lai alone. For now, he had to minimize his losses. Jinsung grabbed Puji. He clicked his tongue, mentally recalling the consequences of defeat. Despite the Chaos Dragon's menacing roar, Jinsung didn't flinch. This surprised Wai, who then recalled the Chaos Dragon. Jinsung was sweating bullets with relief when he saw the monster disappear. Along with that came countless rewards for conquering the Chaos Labyrinth, hundreds of thousands of experience points, and he leveled up to 43. Jinsung was still stunned that he had conquered the labyrinth. He suddenly thought that perhaps, from the very beginning, there was no way to actually defeat that dragon. Even so, the experience points received were lower than he'd anticipated. Ignoring his fatigue, Jinsung plopped down on the ground. Wai approached and praised him. I didn't expect you to fight the Chaos Dragon so well. Jinsung, slightly embarrassed, said, What's so surprising? I still lost in the end. Wai replied, That's not it. It's because that was my summoned beast. You couldn't possibly defeat it with your current abilities, and congratulations, you've passed this test. Jinsung grumbled internally. Is he teasing me? What kind of test is this? Wai asked Jinsung for his name. He quickly replied, My name is Ian. Note, in Taming Master, his IGN is Ian. Jinsung is his real name. The Vietnamese text uses Jinsung, but Ian is contextually correct for in-game character interaction. Wai got straight to the point, offering an incredibly special gift. Would Jinsung like to receive his legacy, the path of a dragon tamer? Though a bit dazzled by such an amazing gift, Jinsung quickly realized it might be a hidden class. He couldn't believe he'd stumble upon a hidden class this way. This definitely isn't a scam, right? Heh. Dragon Tamer. Just the name sounded incredibly cool, and to top it off, this old man was inviting him to be his successor, to become a legendary dragon tamer. He was very much inclined to nod in agreement, but he had to play it cool, pretend to think about it for a bit. Ultimately, is Taming Master or Dragon Tamer better? Jinsung had easily unlocked the Taming Master class at the beginning of the game, but he'd nearly unlocked this Dragon Tamer title after overcoming countless trials and tribulations. Alright, if that's the case. Jinsung looked up at Wai confidently. He wanted to become a Dragon Tamer. The old man, hearing this, was pleased. He assured Jinsung that he would never regret it. It seemed like before he could even feel proud, the transfer began. Let's bless the birth of the new Dragon Tamer. Looking cool, huh? The coolness didn't even last a minute before it fizzled out. What the hell? The system displayed a message. You cannot change to a lower grade class. Class change failed. Damn, isn't that frustrating? Being too good is also a pain, huh? Only then did Wai exclaim, Oh ho, I understand now. Jinsung is already on the path to becoming a master tamer. No wonder I couldn't transfer it to you. Well, then it's an issue with my skill, I suppose. He sounded dejected. He knew Jinsung wasn't an ordinary summoner because he could see his red-maned wolf, but he hadn't expected Jinsung to be a master tamer. Wai looked majestic, but Jinsung now knew that Taming Master was actually higher ranked than Dragon Tamer. Although a bit disappointed, it was fine. Jinsung knows he's good. Heh. He decided to try and dig for more information. Maybe he'd discover something useful. Wai helped him analyze a bit. Lai, Jinsung's wolf, was of a rare grade. Being rare, its power certainly wasn't ordinary. It had to be super extraordinary. But that was only possible if the Tamer nurtured the summoned beast using a special method. This guy is quite perceptive. I wasn't wrong about him. He can even accurately state Lai's grade and power. Even for an NPC, that's very impressive. The title of Legendary Dragon Tamer isn't just for show. He even seemed a bit smug, except towards Jinsung. Wai probably read his thoughts, feeling a pang of disappointment, but Jinsung couldn't forget. Why exactly was Wai waiting for a challenger like him? Ah, I almost forgot something important. Knew it. Trying to skimp on the reward, huh? No way. There has to be a reward after passing all these ridiculous trials. I almost forgot myself and was about to leave empty-handed. Sigh. Meanwhile, in a not-so-gentle turn of events elsewhere, while John Hoon was struggling with a slap monster, likely a slime or similar weak monster, slap being a humorous descriptor, Gawan stood by, clapping and cheering loudly. That's my disciple. Frustrating, but nothing I can do about it. It took forever to finally kill this monster, and he was dead tired. Finally, they achieved 1,000 territory points. The Lotus base was upgraded to Lotus Village. The position of Lotus Village Chief was automatically bestowed upon Guildmaster John Hoon. He was ecstatic, of course. He liked being praised for being mature. But did he really look that much older than his age? It stung a little. The guild base upgrade was complete. I wonder if my little teammate over there is okay. Meaning Jinsung, you guys. He was more than okay. In fact, he was probably doing even better. For 5 consecutive days, sleeping only 2 hours each day, Jinsung felt sleepy even in the game. Damn, he was exhausted. The little turtle next to him, usually leisurely, had a face green with fatigue. Both their eyes were bloodshot. Oh, the misery. Jinsung was starting to regret accepting this quest. But what other choice did he have? If he didn't complete this godforsaken thing, he wouldn't get the reward. Quitting or failing would mean losing reputation equivalent to the quest's rank. And it was a B rank difficulty. Plus, he hadn't even reached level 50 yet. If he had known, he wouldn't have accepted it in the first place, and he wouldn't be in this wretched state. The quest was a summoner with skills recognized by Y. No partying allowed, but thankfully there was no time limit. Otherwise, Jinsung would usually be home on full moon days, new moon days, and death anniversaries. The most important part, the reward, was frustratingly vague. Damn it all. Although he liked playing solo, it was currently too tough. It might be more feasible after he leveled up more. Before starting the quest, Y had given him a spirit stone of the divine dragon. Only at the very end did this old man finally open up. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in Y's era, there were legendary monsters that no longer existed, like the summoned beast that had been with him for a long time, his best friend, the war dragon Kaisi. 1,000 years ago, the sanctuary of the dragon tamers was attacked by evil dragons. Countless dragons and tamers perished. The enemy faction was 100 times stronger than Kaisi. That was why he had fled and hidden here, in this Cropia snow mountain. He had a mission to protect his companion. The evil dragons wouldn't easily let them go, so he had no choice but to seal himself and Kaisi underground. So touching, I'm about to cry. Damn! What a beautiful friendship. Looking back at his own friendships, well, Y had endured here for 1,000 years without a single ray of sunlight, all to revive Kaisi, and he decided to give this stone to Jinsung, for Jinsung to undertake this noble mission. The Space Mage will tell you how to bring the soul of the War Dragon Kalmbach back to this world. It's not necessarily true that only a dragon tamer can restore Kaisi's spirit stone. However, Y continued, it does require some, let's say, experience and the innate skills of a dragon tamer to revive Kaisi into a true war dragon, and the only one who caught my eye capable of doing that was Jinsung. Ah, what a pity. If it bore the title of Divine Dragon, it would surely be an extraordinary summoned beast. Anyway, long story short, just take it to the Space Mage, and we'll figure it out from there. At that moment, Y also gave him the long-awaited reward, the decorative feather of the Dragon Tamer. This is an artifact passed down to the leaders of the Dragon Tamers. However, you must find the Space Mage to remove its seal. Only then will it reveal its true power. So one way or another, he still needed to find that mage. Before disappearing, Y offered his blessings and hoped Jinsung could revive the descendants of the divine dragons in this world. It felt like he had just received an epic quest. While he was at it, Jinsung also took the opportunity to inspect this item. What the hell? Awesome! A legendary grade item. It's mind-blowing. Looking at the system window, this unfamiliar item, man, the stat boosts were insane. And what's more, it could only be used by his class. If this thing gets unlocked, I'll definitely become like a Power Ranger. Totally invincible. Looking at the red text, it seemed kinda tricky. If your summoned beast runs out of health in battle, you can completely swap in another one. Top tier, absolutely peak. Taming a dragon was the dream of so many summoners. He definitely had to get one in the future. Looking closely, this feather's really useful. Heh. Not a waste of effort doing that nonsensical quest. Wait a minute, it's never that easy. Currently, he'd need to be at least level 70 to complete a B rank quest solo. Leveling up like this? No, it wasn't sustainable. Staying awake for 5 days straight like that, he might end up meeting his ancestors sooner rather than later. The good thing was, even though he was tired, his summoned beast didn't know fatigue. And just like that, he leveled up to 50. He finally achieved the soul magic power stat. Although our Jinsung hadn't done much physical work, he was utterly exhausted. Luckily, he hit level 50 just in the nick of time. Otherwise, he'd have been toast. Only after the fight did he wonder what this summoning with soul power was all about. But whatever, forget it. The important thing now was to get some much-needed, deep sleep. Thought he could rest? Was it that easy? The real story was just beginning, mwahaha. He'd barely stretched when dozens of notifications popped up. You are the first summoner to reach level 50, gained 1,500 fame points, etc., etc. Basically, it was all praise for being the first to level 50, as if he'd just saved the world. Ping! Another quest. Isn't that annoying? And what's more, it even had National First, Prophet of Summoning, written in big letters. You are the forerunner among all summoners in the Lucifer Kingdom. Emperor Solius wishes to meet you. Find the Emperor within 3 days. Difficulty, unspecified. It really is a special quest, with a huge contribution. Maybe I'd even get 10 iPhone 16 Pro Maxes. Just thinking about it made the sun shine brighter. Suddenly he felt like a big shot. Knew it! Kalen, the game, always creates lots of good loot for players. Alright, time to hit the hay. He couldn't achieve enlightenment without some sleep. In Mulan, the capital of the Lucifer Kingdom. Things were peaceful. Then suddenly, an earthquake? The ground was shaking and trembling violently. Something started to appear inside the castle. Just as everyone guessed, it was the Tower of the Summoner, for the first person to reach level 50. The nearby citizens started murmuring, "Who the heck is this devilish person?" Meanwhile, the devil everyone was talking about was snoring soundly in bed. Returning to normal life, the world seemed much brighter. He woke up, chowed down a bowl of instant noodles with 2 eggs, then sat reading comments on the game forum. Is this the legendary leisurely life of a gamer? I wish I had it too, he thought sarcastically. Knew it. All the news was about the level 50 summoner. Totally trending. Hee-hey. Everyone's going crazy. Just as he picked up some noodles, someone posted, "I know who the summoner is." Damn it. Thought it was some clickbait. Then he saw his picture up there for real. Thought I was famous. Turns out I'm infamous, damn it. Life is full of tragedies. And they even said the picture was fake. Are these guys nuts? So frustrating. Where do I even vent? Jinsung immediately summoned Lai, then teased the goofy turtle that was always by his side. If Book, the turtle's name presumably, heard that, its little heart would surely break. He summoned it and saw it was mad at him, so he had to go through the trouble of coaxing it again. So tiring. Luckily, this one loved meat like him. He bribed it a little, and it immediately wagged its tail obediently. While chilling amidst the storm of notifications and events, a message from Yuhyun arrived. "Are you crazy? What the hell are you doing, my friend?" Man, for real. First thing in the morning, and he's already calling me mentally unstable. Looks like the fatty, Yuhyun's nickname, also sniffed it out. Phew, luckily only Yuhyun knew it was him. Turns out, it wasn't just Yuhyun who messaged him. Oh my god, the goddess of his life, Heron. She knew he reached summoner level 50 and messaged him right away. Okay, I take back what I said before. Now, let me ask again, am I nuts? Looking at Heron's picture, he could tell she probably planned to use him. Yuhyun's suspicions weren't wrong. And Heron? An angel? More like a fallen angel, maybe? He just got a message from a girl and already forgot his friend, huh? After a series of messages showing off achievements, they finally got to the main point. The Empire Arena was starting next week, and only those level 50 and below could participate in the rookie tournament. Yuhyun thought Jinsung should temporarily stop grinding. If he hadn't mentioned it, Jinsung would have almost forgotten. Winning that tournament would add several thousand fame points. Alright, no grinding for a week. What should they do? Guess I'll just drag myself to do that prophet quest then. Very quickly, Jinsung moved to the Summoner's Tower. This was something created from his achievement. Impressive, huh? Impressive. Truly something to be proud of. Majestic and imposing. The only problem was, nobody believed it was him. Still, he felt a sense of pride. There was still plenty of time to check out what interesting things were inside. It looked kind of similar to the Archer's Tower. Jinsung approached the Artifact Exchange Center. They exchanged items and skill books using contribution points. He suddenly noticed the female staff member was quite pretty, with big, round eyes like egg yolks, and silky smooth hair like in a Sunsilk shampoo ad. She wanted to know his name to look up his contribution points. This time, Jinsung used a different name, Ian. This lady looks kinda cool. No wonder I felt a bit chilly, he thought, playing on the double meaning. After she looked up his information, she seemed very happy. Turns out it was because Jinsung, as Ian, was so rich, his current contribution points were a whopping 5,000. She eagerly led him around a showroom. Jinsung picked up an ancient summoner's iron sword orb. 350 points was its price. A B-rank quest gave him about 200 to 400 contribution points. Thinking back, it wasn't that expensive. Maybe I should just bite the bullet and buy some things. Live like a rich man for a day and see what it's like. He wondered if there were any items purchasable with contribution points that were as strong as that feather. Nothing particularly special caught his eye. Guess I should save them. It was time to pull out his trump card. The beautiful staff member invited Jinsung to look through their skill books. She was sure he'd find something suitable, and then she gave him a mischievous smile that was just to die for. Scene change. At the peak of Mount Kazran Cropia, Limlong, a character, possibly an alter ego or another player, was in the process of delivering divine punishment. Anyone he swiped past died instantly. But this one monster looked a bit tough. Alright, let me do it again to show you ladies what skill looks like. One-hit death mark. This thing was really tanky. Well, it was a buffalo, but a really tough buffalo. A level 65 buffalo, no less. He guessed it would take him another half a day to reach level 50 himself. Speaking of which, his mountain, likely referring to his character's power or level, was still top tier, different from others. He was really looking forward to the day when level 49 met level 50. They'd have to have a proper solo match to sort things out. He should save time. 4 more days until registration for the arena. Limlong revved up his speed and dived headfirst off the cliff. You'd think he was being reckless, but nope, he transformed into a majestic eagle, soaring with style. Back to Jinsung, who was also getting a taste of the good life. Skill books. Jinsung had just gone in and bought these two, costing him a total of 1,700 contribution points. Item information: Firewall type, active skill, skill level, 0, skill tier, rare proficiency, 0% spirit mana, cost 20, cooldown 3 minutes. Description: temporarily summons a fire. Spirit to create a firewall. Blocking an enemy's attack with the firewall will absorb damage equivalent to 350% of the summoner's magic power and reflect fire damage equivalent to 200% of the summoner's magic power. Acquisition. Condition: can only be learned after learning the passive skill, Summon Fire Spirit. Item. Information: lightning manipulation. Type: active skill. Skill level 0. Skill tier: heroic. Proficiency 0%. Spirit mana, cost 15. Cooldown only 1 minute. Description: summons a lightning spirit to create lightning orbs in both hands. Throwing a lightning orb at an enemy will inflict damage equivalent to 250% of the summoner's magic power. Afterward, the orb will split into 4 and shoot out at high speed. If these split orbs hit an enemy or obstacle, they will bounce one more time before disappearing after 5 seconds. Enemies hit by lightning manipulation will have a 15% chance of being paralyzed for 2 seconds. The paralyzed state will reduce the target's speed by 30% and increase damage taken from lightning attacks by 50%. Acquisition condition: can only be learned after learning the passive skill. Summon Lightning Spirit. Activation condition: can only be activated when the lightning spirit is summoned. After reading through both, Jinsung particularly liked the overcharge, likely referring to the paralysis and damage amplification of the second book. Its attack power was relatively low for a heroic tier skill, but the additional effects like paralysis were excellent. Stats like skill tier, mana cost, and cooldown were all ways of using summoner magic power and spirits. First things first, he should thoroughly learn these skills. In an instant, Jinsung acquired the Summon Lightning Spirit skill and the Lightning Manipulation skill through the skill books. His newfound power immediately manifested in his hands. Right after, the Lightning Spirit materialized before him. You have summoned a Lightning Spirit for the first time. You can name the spirit. As he was about to think of a name, it lunged at him. Its name is Chibi. Your name will be Chibi. It sounded very fitting and cute. Heh, praising my own naming sense. He thought he was pretty good at naming. Upon acquiring the new pet, he immediately checked its information using the system. Spirit stats: spirit power, still at 0 out of 10,000. Lightning attribute: summon duration, 375 minutes. Spirit tier: low grade. Resummon, cooldown, 500 minutes. Evolution: will evolve into a great spirit when spirit power reaches maximum. Note: the higher the summoner's magic power, the longer the summon duration. Looking at this information, can't I use it for combat? No wonder it doesn't require leadership stat. I guess I can only see Chibi as a medium to use lightning-type summoning magic. Getting something strong right from the start was great, but raising one from a young age was also fun. No more dilly-dallying. He would now go meet Emperor Celius, or whatever his name was. Arriving at the palace, he casually walked in, only to be blocked by 2 weapons crossing with a clank. What are you doing here? This was a bit different from before. What's this? Before I reset my character, I could come and go freely. Do I need to show them some kind of permit? Ah, right, the Pioneer quest. I'll tell them. He introduced himself. I am Ian, the Summoner Pioneer. I'm here because the Emperor wishes to see me. The soldier asked him to wait a moment. I'll ask the captain. Not long after, the captain stepped out to greet Jinsung. Welcome, Pioneer. I am Malin, captain of the guard. I didn't inform the soldiers in advance, so I made you wait. Please forgive me. Jinsung found this strange. Is he being polite because this is the Emperor's quest? But he didn't dwell on it. Malin would escort him inside. He always stuck close behind him to avoid getting lost, and at the same time he was curious. What level is the captain of the guard, I wonder? Raphael, the commander of the Civil Defense Force, was around level 90. He secretly checked the information and was flabbergasted. Are you kidding me? The captain of the guard is level 115? The top players hadn't even reached level 120 yet. And what about those guards? Even the guards were levels 104 and 107. The Empire was truly powerful. That must be why the top guilds can't establish their bases on the Corona continent. If they mess with the Empire, the entire guild would be wiped out. His guild, choosing to build their base in the northern region instead of here, was indeed a good choice. He thought he himself needed to level up quickly and help the guild. And then, Malin led him to the exact place he needed to be, and he met Emperor Celius. The two sat opposite each other, looking at each other for a long time. So you are Ian. When Jinsung met him, he had expected an old man with gray hair, but he was actually quite young. All his information was hidden, so Jinsung didn't even know his level. Jinsung took the initiative to speak first. I heard you wanted to see me, correct? Celius crossed his arms, his expression stern. That's right. When I heard that an outstanding individual like you had appeared in the Lucifer Empire, I had to find you. The system then notified him. You have met Emperor Celius within the time limit. Summoner Pioneer quest completed. Fame increased by 1,250. He hadn't expected to receive so much fame just by meeting this emperor. Empire quests were truly on another level. The emperor lightly lifted his teacup, saying he was very excited to hear about him. He then asked, Do you know why? I have been looking for a skilled summoner like you for a very long time. Jinsung, being blunt, just asked, why? Normally this would be disrespectful, causing him, perhaps an aide, to speak up and correct him immediately. Celius slowly recounted an old story, a shocking secret of the Empire. A long time ago, there was a prophecy about a special summoner, one who would bring either prosperity or destruction to Lucifer. And the sign of this person was the ability to tame creatures that no one else could. Celius looked directly into Jinsung's eyes. I believe you are that person, Ian, and I need your help. Jinsung was dumbfounded. Help with what? Celius sighed. A dark force is rising, threatening the very existence of the Empire. Only the power of a special summoner can stop it. I want you to participate in a top-secret mission, a mission that could decide the fate of us all. Jinsung was silent for a moment, 1,000 thoughts racing through his mind. Finally, he nodded. I accept. Celius smiled, satisfied. Excellent. Malin will provide you with all the necessary information. Prepare yourself thoroughly, Ian. The road ahead will be very arduous. Jinsung stood up, feeling as if an invisible weight had just been placed on his shoulders. This mission might be even more difficult than facing the Chaos Dragon. The Emperor didn't seem offended by his lack of courtly manners. After all, he was an adventurer, not well versed in palace etiquette. Jinsung silently breathed a sigh of relief. He'd almost been done for. If the Emperor had brandished that greatsword, one strike would likely have been enough to send him to meet his ancestors. Ian stared wide-eyed. It turned out to be a top-grade treasure of immense value. Just one small mistake, and he would have been toast. Celius spoke. Ian, do you know of the legendary spirit beast, the symbol of our Lucifer Empire? Ian wasn't one for such matters. He thought to himself, isn't it the Jinn? Indeed, not many are aware, but it seems you know. The Jinn is a magnificent creature, with the body of a lion and the head, wings, and claws of an eagle. Jinsung thought, it's displayed right there in front of my eyes. How could I not know? About half a century ago, the Empire discovered a Jinn nest in the Sick Desert and retrieved an egg. Hearing this, Jinsung gritted his teeth. What? Jinns really exist? And they managed to subdue them? However, the tricky problem is that we haven't been able to make the egg hatch, even after more than half a year. This time, the Emperor sought him out precisely because he wanted Jinsung to find a way to make this Jinn egg hatch. Right after, the system displayed all the quest information. Empire quest, the Jinn egg. Description: half a year ago, the Emperor's knights found a rare Jinn egg in the desert. The knights brought the egg back, and the Emperor eagerly wishes to nurture it, as the Jinn is a legendary spirit beast symbolizing the Empire's strength. However, no one knows how to make the Jinn egg hatch. For this reason, Emperor Celius has requested you, a talented summoner, to find a way to hatch the egg. Difficulty: unknown. Requirements: none. Time limit: unknown. Reward: 1 summoning skill. Book from the Royal Library. Penalty for refusal: affinity with Emperor Celius will decrease. If you have no affinity points, hostility will increase. After reading it, Jinsung clasped his hands and prayed. How am I supposed to know this? Make a Jinn egg hatch? Jinsung found it utterly ridiculous. He told himself, I'm not some bird egg hatching expert. How the hell am I supposed to hatch an egg? The fact that the time limit wasn't displayed, what did this imply? He really didn't know where to start. I can't lose reputation by refusing this quest. So he accepted the request. I understand. Let me see what I can do. As soon as he stepped out of the castle, he let out a long sigh, as if the weight of it all had placed immense pressure on his shoulders. Things were getting more and more complicated. He had accepted 2 huge quests without getting much in return. At least he knew where to get support for the Forgotten Ancient Monster quest. Celius had given him some item for that. As for the bird egg hatching quest, he was completely clueless, knowing nothing about it. What should I do now? The Emperor had entrusted him with the responsibility of finding a way to hatch the bird egg he was cradling in his hands. He stretched, trying to regain his composure. It seemed he couldn't handle both quests at the same time. I should check out that arena Yuhyun mentioned first. This arena had been open for 5 days already, and it was also time for Jinsung to hone his new skills. He needed to find a place to hunt. After checking, he remembered there was an ant dungeon here. Just then, a message from Heron arrived. It turned out she was just asking what he was doing. I'm preparing to go hunting. I'll try to grind my experience points up to 99%. Heron, on the other hand, was at a coffee shop near her school, discussing her holiday quest with a friend. She boldly added another message. I'd be very happy if we could have a meal together if you're free. You're nearby, right? Jinsung, unexpectedly, was a little interested in this, thinking it seemed like a good idea. But then he remembered, and his heart ached with regret. No, he needed to use his Surging Lightning Waves skill first. He had to decline the invitation from a beautiful girl. I'm sorry, Heron. How about we eat together next time? I'm already in the hunting zone, so it's quite inconvenient to leave right now. Despite receiving a less than desirable answer, Heron didn't act high and mighty at all. I understand. Well, message me when you're done hunting. Oh, but I might be slow to reply to messages, so I'll send you my phone number. Jinsung felt like he had collapsed at the deepest point of despair, kneeling and crying. Skipping a delicious meal to go hunting. I'm really beyond help. Not long after, he and his pets arrived at the giant ant cave. This is exactly what I was hoping for. All right, let's get started. He ordered Biggie, Poogie/Biggie from context, likely a pet name, to attack first, and Lai was its companion. Summoned beast Biggie received 201 damage from the giant ant. Then it received 376 damage. It started using its freezing stone wave skill, devastating the ants. This is probably a good time for Lai to attack. It clawed those ants into 100 pieces. Good job, Lai. Perfect, my boy. While engrossed in the fight, he suddenly heard snoring. Turning around, he saw Book/Bat, sleeping soundly, oblivious to the world. It sensed Jinsung peeking at it, so it opened its eyes and then climbed onto his shoulder. Now I don't have to tell you what to do. Good job. All right, let's try this new skill. Surging lightning waves. I guess I just need to throw it at the ants, and it'll work. But the ants didn't react at all. They even stood there watching the two lightning orbs moving very slowly, as if crawling. Damn it, too slow. So slow. How's this supposed to hit the ants? An ant looked at him quizzically, as if to say, do you really think you can attack us with that? He calmly reread the skill description. Luckily, his spirit mana recovered quickly. I guess I have to do it like this. This time it would definitely hit. No doubt about it. Jinsung tried again. Indeed, the result was as desired. A complete success. You have executed the skill, Surging Lightning Waves, attacking the giant ant for 1179 damage. After hitting, he realized the paralysis effect hadn't activated. The 15% conversion rate wasn't great either. Just as he was wondering, the system displayed a notification, also mentioning what he was thinking about, an additional 359 damage dealt to the giant ant. It has fallen into a paralyzed state. The giant ant would become 30% slower and receive 50% more damage from lightning-type attacks. Surging Lightning Waves was now on cooldown. This was also the most suitable skill for mob clearing, a term used to describe very weak system-generated monsters, like those cannon fodder running around fighting superheroes before the boss battle. All right, on to the next exciting part. He was quite enthusiastic, constantly praising mob clearing as the best. My experience is now at 99.9%. I might reach level 51 if I train a little more. I won't be able to go to the arena if that happens. All right, boys, prepare to withdraw. Turning around, Book had vanished again. It really knew how to make people worry. Turns out, it was doing something private up ahead, and Jinsung couldn't understand what. What are you doing? Book, seeing the situation was precarious, quickly recalled it before things could take a turn for the worse. Just as he did, he received 36 experience points because Book had destroyed a giant ant egg. Now he knew what it was up to. Instantly, Jinsung leveled up to 51. He hadn't expected it to be so fast and shouted in delight. Even though he had reached level 51, he was still fuming with regret. I'm so pathetic. I should have stopped at 98%. He wanted to summon Poogie, again and give it a good whack. Then he asked Lai in a cold voice, "What should we do?" Lai just turned its head away, unwilling to say more. Finally, he decided to recall them. "All right, you guys get some rest." Suddenly, he started mulling over absurd ideas. If I want to de-level, I guess the only way is to kill myself. I'll hide all the items that might drop upon death. Jinsung held his sword. This item can be discarded, so I guess I'll use this one. Now he had to stab himself, but when he pointed the blade at himself, he hesitated. However, he still had to go through with it. You will lose experience upon death. You have de-leveled to level 50. You will not be able to connect for 24 hours. After finishing the battle with the giant ants, Jinsung had a private date with Harin. He felt quite awkward, not knowing what to say when he met her. He had a feeling the atmosphere would be very stiff. She said they'd meet at the coffee shop near the school's back gate. Right? He vaguely remembered it, so he went to check. From a distance, he immediately saw Harin's gentle figure and her long, flowing black hair. This time, he truly took a good look at her. I didn't know there was such a beautiful person in our school. How can she be so pretty? Is she famous? The two of them met. Heron was a bit dazed because he was wearing different clothes today, looking unfamiliar. Her beauty is exactly the same as in the game. I guess you didn't edit your character when you created it, huh? She looks prettier than her character in Kaylin. Heron, however, thought the complete opposite. Because I wanted to be prettier, I edited it a lot. Is that why you don't recognize me? You must be very disappointed, huh? Their thoughts were completely contrary, unintentionally making everyone feel awkward. So Jin-sung broke the silence by suggesting they eat. I still haven't had breakfast, so I'm starving now. Okay, I know a delicious restaurant. Let's go there. The two of them sat facing each other, eating and chatting like a newly acquainted couple. Even the way she gazed intently at her food was beautiful. The date ended. They said goodbye and parted ways. That evening, he returned to his room and sighed to himself. So tired. I'm completely out of energy. Women are truly terrifying creatures. But if it weren't for Heron, when would I ever get to eat with a girl? Back to the game. Oh, wait, he suddenly remembered he couldn't connect for 24 hours. But being in the game still felt comfortable somehow, so he chose to sleep in Kaylin. Just like that, it was morning again. Outside, there was some kind of very lively gathering. Hello, esteemed viewers. This is VTBC, Korea's representative game broadcasting station. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am commentator Hen, and I am commentator Lucia. There are so many people here today, huh? The whole arena seems much more enthusiastic than a month ago, even though this is just the rookie tournament, not the main one. Hen, many new classes have been added. Which class do you think will show the highest combat power in the arena? In my opinion, for one-on-one matches, it has to be the Assassin class. It's a class with much higher attack power than Dark Wizards and Summoners. Soon after, Jin-sung also arrived at the arena. It seemed the first preliminary match was finally starting. It was Assassin Limlong, a new class, right from the first match. His opponent was Warrior Leo. Truly an exciting matchup. Everyone, please pay attention. The match will begin in 5 seconds. Jin-sung was very much looking forward to witnessing this match. An assassin. I wonder how he'll fight. In the stands, the audience was cheering enthusiastically. The two combatants were determined to win, neither giving an inch. The way Limlong attacked and defended was significantly calmer than Leo. He even used an invisibility skill, catching Leo off guard. He was probably going to launch a surprise attack. Even if Leo knew, there was nothing he could do. Jin-sung saw Limlong as a character who could grab his attention more. Up to this point, Leo had lost nearly half his health, but couldn't give up like that. Die, you bastard! He used Shockwave to attack fiercely. Limlong immediately shot out multiple arrows in a counterattack, and then he officially defeated Leo. Continuous cheers erupted. Limlong has won the match. He will receive double rewards for an absolute victory. Jin-sung quite admired this person. It was only the first preliminary match, and it was already this amazing. That assassin is really good. Limlong suddenly stared at him with sharp, bullet-like eyes. Jin-sung sensed Limlong was looking at him. Knew it. Kaylin has many strong hidden players. I have to be vigilant. He returned to his private room, wondering which pets to bring. The other matches were like comedies, not worth watching. Honestly, I'd rather watch the rookie preliminaries. No way I'm paying for that. Someone as smart as Jin-sung wouldn't be fooled. Sarcasm directed at himself, or the bad matches. Do I now have enough standing to judge others? Why are they so bad? Even for players under level 50, it's pathetic. It was bad of me to mock Hez and Lovin's skills. Compared to these guys, those two are gods. He was curious to see the next preliminary match, which would be between Ian and Jimon. The moment had arrived. It was his turn to step onto the stage. Outside, the MC was already calling out the names of the players. Players whose names have been called, please come to the waiting room immediately. Behind him, a very large group of supporters followed, escorting him. First, everyone shouted Jimon's name, the greatest dark horse. Before the match began, he had already decided to save Slap, likely a weak pet, used as a surprise tactic, as his trump card. Below in the stands, everyone was scrambling, claiming Jimon was looking at them, screaming their heads off. Jim will take us to paradise. Dark Horse, destroy that summoner. Number 1 Dark Wizard, Jim. Jin-sung, standing behind, had all his spotlight stolen by that guy. That line ticks me off. Number 1 Dark Wizard? Then I'm the number 1 summoner. I don't know much about assassins, but I know a little about Dark Wizards. I just need to be wary of Bone Prison and wide area debuff skills. And his HP is even lower than mages and archers. Let's start this match with a shockwave, focusing on his opponent. At this moment, Jimon finally spoke to him. So, you're Ian. Nice to meet you. Jin-sung didn't seem to like this guy. Why does a guy look so fake? The two shook hands amicably. Hope we have a good match? The match will begin in 5 seconds. Jinsung had a few reminders for Lai. As soon as the match starts, aim for the Dark Wizard. He'll definitely unleash his full firepower on me. Once a match begins, summoners are easily defeated if they're caught before their summoned beast can use their power. But I have a few trump cards too, and then the countdown reached 0. They officially began their challenge to determine the winner. Jimon was utterly shocked. What is this? I thought when the match started, it would be a battle between his summoned beast and my undead. Why is he just rushing towards me? Jinsung had guessed from the beginning that this guy would use Bone Prison, so he had prepared his counter tactic very carefully. Jimon couldn't believe this was real and shouted in despair, "Impossible! How can he be a summoner? He's more like an assassin." If Jinsung could predict where the skill would land, dodging wasn't difficult. Besides, he had put all his stat points into agility. He continued to charge forward while simultaneously activating weakness detection. Jimon, summoned Bones to act as his shield, blocking Jinsung. Every action he took was entirely within Jinsung's calculations. Ultimately, he was really easy to predict. Now was the right time to summon Slap. Jim was probably panting because, from the start of the match, he had only been trying to defend, not landing a single complete attack on his opponent. Was it worth it for those girls to be so infatuated with him? Ice Wave shattered those skulls, turning them into dust. The image before them made everyone gasp in awe. Extraordinary! What was that? So cool, like an action movie. What a terrifying match. It hasn't even been 30 seconds. While Jim was distracted, Lai had silently run up and attacked. Jim was afflicted with a bleeding effect and would take a total of 515 damage over the next 10 seconds. Currently, he had lost 3,000 HP. He cursed furiously, calling Lai a mad dog. It's not even a level 70-80 Dark Wolf, and its summoner isn't even past level 50. How can it take so much of my HP? While he had the momentum, Jinsung quickly finished the match with a lightning punch. Whether you were a woman or not, everyone watching was dumbfounded with astonishment. Player Jimon's HP has dropped below 5%. He has been removed from the arena. Player Ian wins. At this moment, they had switched their object of admiration. Only when he won did people truly focus their eyes on him. He's the best! Before leaving the broadcasting booth, Hen and Lucia showered his abilities with praise. Amazing! Is the summoner class always this strong? Could it be that he has a hidden superclass? What a fantastic match. Especially that giant wolf. It completely overwhelmed Jim in just a few attacks. The summoned beast is very skilled, but the player himself is also amazing. He must be an agility-focused summoner. Truly insane. Jim, with a regretful look in his eyes, thought, I let my guard down because he's a damn summoner. I thought he was a noob because he only carried iron fists as a weapon. I can't believe the number 1 Dark Horse could be eliminated in the qualifying rounds. If I had focused, I would have won. Damn it! Jim gritted his teeth, glaring at Jinsung. That must have been what he was thinking. Why is the number 1 Dark Wizard so weak? His mechanics are like trash. Jim couldn't dodge a single blow. Anyway, no one would underestimate summoners in Kalen anymore. The match had ended quite a while ago, but many people were still wondering, where the hell did he find that wolf? Does anyone have information on it? How can it move faster than an assassin class player? Is it because the assassin's level was too low? Was that electric shock skill some kind of amplified current? How is that possible? During the break, Lucia, while drinking water, turned to Hen and asked, Don't you think this rookie league is something else? This is probably something everyone can see, especially Summoner Ian and Assassin Limlong. Those two seem to have trained themselves using unique methods. Now that I think about it, I think I've met that summoner and his red-maned wolf somewhere before. Hen tried to remember, and indeed, he had met them before. It was the player I met on the ghost ship while doing the mage quest. Let's not discuss this issue anymore. The next match will take place in a few minutes. Limlong was focused, arranging his strategy, preparing meticulously for the next match. As for Jinsung, fun was the main thing. Winning was a perfect 10. Saying it like it's nothing. If I keep winning like this, I'll be able to earn 100,000 fame and get all the level 50 summoner gear, all rare hero grade stuff too. Who can stop me? All right, win the tournament, then back to grinding levels. Seeing his appearance, almost everyone was overjoyed, as if seeing a celebrity. His name was even chanted throughout the stands. As Jinsung was walking out, an orange-haired archer girl shot him a sidelong glance. It was Mylong, the player from the cleric quest. Jinsung didn't believe she was level 50 because she looked at least over 50. But why is she here? Did she intentionally de-level like me? As for Mylong, after the sidelong glance, she gritted her teeth, looking like she wanted to jump in and claw him to pieces. You bastard, Ian! Are you still keeping Halo's necklace of mine? You shameless scoundrel! Not only was he not flustered, but he even asked provocatively, I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you asking me about it? Of course, I auctioned it off for a hefty profit. The two of them continued to curse each other with their eyes. You son of a dog! You tricked me last time, but don't even think about it today. I'll beat you to a pulp with my own hands. From the stands, one could easily guess they knew each other. Looks like they've fought before. This match is probably going to be a comedy. Suddenly, out of nowhere, she pointed at his face and warned, I know your secret. While Jin-sung himself didn't even know what secret he possessed, Milong said directly, that wolf you summoned, it's not a summoned beast you tamed. You're using an artifact to bind and control it. You're nothing without items. Jin-sung barely understood a word she said, looking completely bewildered. Binding technique? What artifact? What are you talking about? Hen and Lucia, standing above, were aghast when they heard it. Oh my god, if that's true, then this is really big news, isn't it? Indeed, he's too strong for a level 50 summoner. If there really is a summoning artifact, winning this rookie league will be very easy. I wonder if that's against the rules. It seems the rich will get richer, and the poor will get poorer in this game. Jin-sung couldn't stand being misunderstood so gravely. Seriously? Does she really think it's a summoning artifact? I rely on items? I'm pissed now, and those idiots believe her? Are you kidding me? Milong didn't care much, even though she knew the truth, and only she asserted it. No need to say any more. Come on, I don't care about the wolf, I'll kill you first. The match will begin in 5 seconds. Jin-sung was furious with her, to the absolute limit. This idiot! I'll wipe you out within 30 seconds. He enthusiastically exploded, aiming for a quick victory. Unexpectedly, Milong could predict what skill he would use and used Sensor Arrow. That was a high-level skill. He wondered how she found the skill to learn this. I used to be an archer class player too. Why don't I know about this? Even if I get hit, it won't cause much damage. Every action in the match was within Milong's predictions. But in the end, she couldn't overcome Jin-sung. The Sensor Arrow was hit by Summoner Ian's summoned beast, Book. Milong couldn't believe her eyes. What was that skill that could take it down in one hit? That was the Bulletproof Vest, a metaphorical description of Book's defense or a specific skill, and also the reason why he could withstand a few blows. While she was off guard, Jin-sung found a way to get as close as possible. I've been waiting for this for a long time. He could end the match with one palm strike. Player Ian wins. It would be great if I could continue fighting people like this. Reaching the semifinals, he went back into his private room to carefully prepare his strategy. The matches so far have been too easy, but maybe the semifinals will be a challenge for me. His current opponent was a kid, and he was also a dark wizard. Even though he was a child, Jin-sung told himself not to underestimate him. He introduced himself. I'm Ian. Let's have a good match. The kid, unexpectedly, showed such an attitude. He didn't say anything in response, but just thought to himself. Finally met someone with real strength. This match won't be easy, but many people will be sad if I, the greatest wizard on the continent, lose in this round. Evil summoner of darkness, your luck ends here, and you will fall before me. Prepare yourself. Seeing his expression and the way he kept talking to himself, Jin-sung was alarmed. What the hell is this? Is he a fame-hungry kid? Damn. He's like some delusional power tripper. He's a dark wizard. What right does he have to accuse me of being a dark summoner? And what's more, the greatest wizard on the continent? That sounds ridiculous. After his self-admiration, he finally spoke to introduce himself. My name is Ganchi Huni. You'd best engrave that name, though it's hardly worth telling to someone about to perish. Jin-sung helplessly touched his head. This kid isn't acting, is he? And then, the match will begin in 5 seconds. During that time, Huni whispered, Awaken from the sealed abyss, my servants. Bring me a promising victory. Jin-sung looked at the skeletons the wizard summoned and immediately felt uneasy. The first thing to note was that they were black. A hidden class. That kid has a hidden class. That's why he can summon skeletons I've never seen before. I honestly don't know what skills he'll use. I should have observed a few matches with dark wizards before this. Why didn't I watch any? He blamed himself. This was a huge oversight for the semifinals. The match had just begun, and Jin-sung was already hit by Huni's Dark Abyss Prison skill. When affected by the skill, he would be slowed by 20%, meaning he couldn't end this match quickly like the previous ones. So he decided to fight normally. Lie, corner him from the side. Slap. Use Ice Wave. Both of them attacked together. A pincer move then boosted their attack. Before him was a chaotic mess. Huni's summoned beast, the Shadow Warrior, was paralyzed. They would be slowed by 30%. For now, Jin-sung had a glimmer of hope for victory. Huni, however, was very excited. It's not easy indeed. However, your luck ends here. The next skill, called Darkness Judgment, was a basic attack skill of a dark wizard. This skill was fast, but its trajectory could be predicted through the caster's hand movements. Huni, interested, praised him. You're good, but unfortunately for you, your opponent is me. Mwahaha. Even at this point, that kid still has this bizarre expression. That delusion of grandeur must be incurable. Now's my chance. Slap. Use direct electric punch. After using this skill, he felt even more embarrassed. Huni was confused. It hadn't punched anything, but it was all part of the plan. That's what you think, kid. This is the real attack. Go lie. The black skeleton shattered into 100 pieces, along with the kid's regretful gaze. He continued to boast loudly. All of this was within my predictions. You die. Revenge. However, even though he tried, the outcome was perhaps already clear. Summoned Beast, Lai dealt a critical hit to Huni. He officially lost 2272 HP. Jinsung was about to rejoice, but things didn't end there. The kid's Dead Man's Revenge skill activated, reflecting 276% of the damage. Summoned Beast Lai received 62,270 damage. The damage reached such a horrifying number that even Jinsung was shocked. Are you kidding me? That much damage? Impossible. Lai's HP was less than 8,000. At this rate, Lai would... And then it took another 759 damage. Seeing the situation was impossible, Jinsung quickly recalled Lai, unsummoning it. Otherwise, it would die. Huni chuckled lightly. Heh. Just as I thought. That pathetic wolf has high attack power, but its vitality is terrible. Nothing can hide from these eyes that see through evil. For the first time, Jinsung faced this kind of feeling. He hadn't expected to fight without Lai. I should have used a safer tactic and taken down those skeletons first, but it must have suffered considerable damage by now, and that Dead Man's Revenge skill probably won't last long, so I still have a chance. Huni gave a sinister smile and asked, making Jinsung falter, Shall I guess what you're thinking in your head, with my brilliant intellect? You're definitely thinking that I've lost a lot of HP, right? It must be. You can't deny it. The next skill unleashed was called Soul Siphon. With this, my HP has been restored. Ha! Now how will you defeat me without that wolf? Jinsung gradually started to worry, sweating bullets. If he wasn't careful, he could lose this match. What should I do? This match is completely different from the previous ones. Many times over. Extraordinary. What a tense match. This is so exciting. Hen then asked Lucia who she thought would win this match. She wasn't sure anymore. It's still too early to determine who will be the winner. That's also what makes this match so dramatic. While they were fiercely engaged, Jinsung suddenly dismissed his summoned beast. Everyone was bewildered, not understanding what he was doing. Isn't that his only summoned beast? But it seems to be his best attacker. Jinsung was deep in thought again, planning something. This was a question many people were also wondering about. The way Jinsung strategized was truly baffling to his opponent. He recalled his summoned beast instead of summoning more. Heh, have you recognized my might and decided to give up? Well, I shall accommodate your concession. I am truly merciful. Jinsung remained calm, observing every gesture and action of the kid. What is he planning to do? He stepped forward, pointing directly at Huni's face. Hey kid, if you keep talking so rudely, this big brother will teach you a lesson. Brat? Being called a brat unintentionally angered him. You scoundrel, and I was going to allow you to surrender, but I cannot forgive you for calling me a brat. Turns out, this was Jinsung's plan, to deliberately provoke Huni. Now, he silently summoned Book to fight. Before him was Book the turtle, huffing and puffing. He hadn't expected Jinsung to still have a summoned beast. At this crucial moment, Jinsung was moved by the big-headed turtle's actions. From the beginning, he thought it only followed him for meat buns, but it had bravely stepped forward to protect him. Huni pointed his staff directly at the beast. I will eliminate this big-headed turtle. Darkness Judgment. He cast the skill straight at Book. The Darkness Judgment skill was cast. When player Ian's summoned beast took damage, Book immediately created a shield, blocking the entire force of the attack. This made Huni angrier than ever. You audacious turtle, I'll take care of you later. First, I must execute that scoundrel. Seize him. Don't let him escape. Jinsung felt happy inside but didn't show it, to avoid letting his opponent guess. Just as I predicted, I've got his number. Now's my chance. Spatial swap. Huni was focusing his attack when suddenly Jinsung teleported behind him, quickly giving him a somersault that sent him headfirst to the ground. He struggled to get up, stubbornly saying, I'm still plenty strong. Jinsung squatted down beside him and chuckled. He reached out and flicked him hard on the forehead, making him cry out loudly and tumble straight into the stands. Player Huni has left the arena. According to arena rules, he is eliminated due to the boundary being in effect. Player Ian has won. Up to this point, although this match was a bit difficult, it was the third match he had won. Hen and Lucia were so surprised they gasped. What an unbelievable comeback. Did you see that? It's crazy. How can he use his skills so brilliantly? He won without his wolf, thanks to an artifact. Truly masterful. Even though I won, I'm still being labeled because of that idiot Malong's nonsense. Not an artifact. That damn ridiculous artifact story. You really believe that? Below, Huni, unwilling to accept defeat, kept muttering, "It should have been my victory. I was about to win." Jinsung went over to console him. "Don't cry, brat. That's how you grow up. If you want to try again next time, I'll take you on." Huni eagerly wanted a rematch right now. It was dark. This was the ITBC Station Support Center. The female employees working here were very busy answering calls. "Yes, hello? What? The rookie tournament? You want to watch it live right now?" This wasn't the first time this issue had come up. Why were they so eager to watch a tournament that hadn't even finished yet? The forums were also buzzing. What was happening in the rookie tournament? These girls couldn't fully grasp the situation outside the arena. Reaching the finals, Jinsung met Limlong again, just as he had initially predicted. He hadn't expected Limlong to reach this round using only basic assassin skills. "As for me, I've shown all my trump cards. This match really won't be easy." Limlong spoke to him first. "Hello, Ian. I really enjoyed watching your matches." The two seemed to get along quite well, not openly competitive like the previous opponents. "Nice to meet you. Let's have a good match." The final match of the rookie tournament between player Limlong and player Ian will begin soon. The audience below kept shouting, "It doesn't matter who wins. Show us what you've got, summoner." Everyone was curious about his true abilities. The match will begin in 5 seconds. Jinsung stretched and warmed up to achieve the best result. No matter how I think about it, this isn't an advantageous opponent for a summoner. If I can't find a way to deal with that invisibility skill, I'll have no chance of winning. I need to maximize my senses and dodge the first blow with my reflexes. Then I have to win before his invisibility skill's cooldown ends. The match had only just begun for a few seconds when Limlong had already used his invisibility skill. What a formidable opponent. However, it was a bit strange that Limlong didn't use his stealth skill. I thought he would use stealth and attack immediately. The long duration of stealth is a disadvantage. He probably plans to use it later. Well, if I were him, I'd use stealth in dangerous moments. If I fail, the risk is too great. Look how accurately he's aiming. Does he know our abilities are comparable? He focused, feeling every second as his opponent approached, then told all his pets to spread out. Ian quickly told Slap to use Ice Wave. Unexpectedly, Limlong actually got hit. He hurriedly used Shadow Step to counter, disappearing in an instant. He hid completely in the shadows. Ian had to keep a cool head to win. Shadows, right. His hidden class must be related to shadows. That's why he used that skill. But that doesn't mean I'll lose. The match grew increasingly fierce. Lai used Explosion right away. That skill again. Why does this guy keep annoying me? But he can't dodge while in the air, and it has a cooldown. However, that was all a miscalculation. Limlong managed to gracefully dodge that blow. In his hand, he held a small knife, shattering Ian's dedicated skill. Ian couldn't believe his eyes. How can he dodge like that by just falling? 2 pairs of eyes, sharp as knives, stared at each other, looking truly terrifying. This time, Limlong used Shadow Combination, catching him off guard and dealing critical damage to the target. Ian has taken 45 and 60 damage from a single blow. Not long after, he took another 1,075 damage. If it's just a shadow, how can it deal so much damage? The damage kept ticking down while Ian was still endlessly wondering. Lai also grew increasingly angry, pushing him back with an electric orb. Lai's relentless efforts finally paid off. Summoned Beast Lai has dealt damage to Limlong. Player's vitality reduced by 1795. The electric orb skill hit the target. Player's vitality reduced by another 1085. Player Limlong is paralyzed. Speed reduced by 30%. At this moment, Ian was also a bit safer. Getting hit was not his fighting style. Luckily, paralysis worked, although I can't take a fatal blow. Good, the arena has stabilized. Limlong was worried but managed to maintain his composure as much as possible. Ian thought, I just need to use myself as bait and let Lai successfully attack, break a few of that guy's bones, because an assassin's vitality has dropped to that of a dark wizard. Lim Long intended to use that skill again, but not this time. You think you can catch a shadow, but it's not that easy. There's no shadow. Is it the stealth skill? Where is he? He tried to predict where his opponent was. Unexpectedly, he managed to hit the target. Player Lim Long has been afflicted with paralysis. He grimaced in pain. I've been hit. However, he still tried to unleash all his strength. Summoned Beast Book Book appeared to protect Ian, thus taking critical damage. Book Book's vitality reduced by 27. At the same time, Ian had summoned Biggie Pooji to act as a shield. Therefore, it was attacked and lost 27 HP. Then he tucked Biggie behind his robes and continued to attack. However, he was attacked out of nowhere and lost a considerable amount of HP. You have been poisoned. Therefore, you will lose 315 HP every second. Ian lightly touched the wounded area to treat himself and gained 843 HP. Lim Long was particularly interested in Ian's abilities. He's not bad, is he? Using the skills he has so perfectly. After fighting for a while, Lim Long's mask also fell off, revealing a very handsome face.